Good morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome to At Home with Quest, especially on this really special day when we're starting our Wellbeing Health and Wellbeing Challenge, our 30-day challenge. As we emerge out of lockdown, this is the perfect time to replenish ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So thank you for joining me this morning. This is my birthday week. And I really want to thank everyone who's joined up so far for the fundraising challenge. And if not for the fundraising challenge, just to join us for 30 days of wonderful activities. And we're going to talk this morning about how those little things that we can do in life often can make such a profound difference for all of us, for each of us. We're going to begin, though, by coming to our senses. I'm coming to you from Gundungurra country in the Southern Highlands of New South Wales. I'd like to pay my respect to the elders, to the emerging leaders, to the vast community of Indigenous people, and indeed to all of our ancestors, because collectively they come from many, many countries to this amazing country of Australia. So let's just start off by coming to our senses. As you know, this is a practice that we encourage everyone to do because it engages the task positive network in your brain, and that shuts down the default mode network, which is that terrible chattering that goes on all day long in a lot of people's brains. So as soon as we focus our attention by coming to our senses or on some other activity, we engage that task positive network. So let's have a practice. Just bring all of your awareness into this present moment by coming to your senses as you are. Aware of your body and its posture, whether you're sitting or lying down, perhaps walking, sitting in the sun. Just notice the weight and shape and posture of your body as it is. Take your awareness into your body and notice if you're holding any tension, any itchy, glitchy, restless bits. Not needing to change them, just acknowledging that they're there. Just allowing it to be present. Notice what's supporting your body and let it fully support you. The touch of your clothing against your skin. Aware of its texture. The temperature that your clothing helps create. Aware of where it moves against your skin as you breathe. The touch of air against hands, cheeks. Notice any taste in your mouth. You might notice how your tongue, your nose work in concert to establish taste. Any aroma in the air. And aware of how your nostrils savour the air to extract the aroma. The sensations of the air flowing up through your nostrils, down through your nostrils. The difference in temperature between the inward and outward breath as the air is warmed by your body. Notice what falls within your gaze or any sight behind closed eyes. All the little muscles around your eyes, are they busy? Are they quiet? And deep behind your eyes, letting go any strain. Notice all of the sounds close by. Then let your listening run right out till you hear the sun shining. And the sensations of the breath. The inward and outward breath, the rising and falling of your belly. The sensations where the air enters and leaves your body right at the tip of your nostrils. This one breath that unites us. The breath flowing softly into the belly. A full, deep breath. Okay, thank you. Such a simple practice, coming to your senses. And it's been a strange time that we've all been through. We've had our collective challenges within our communities, within our state, within our nation, and within the planet. We've had those collective challenges that we've all been taking on, all the changes that have happened. There's been grief around our normal routines. There's been uncertainty about the future. There's no doubt been some conflict and maybe some different views held within your family about all sorts of things. And what I've noticed is that suffering, perhaps more than anything, has the capacity to drive us to the present moment. Because sometimes the future looks too challenging. And sometimes it's easier just to come back to the breath, to the body. And over this coming month, we're going to have the opportunity of exploring many, many tiny little things. None of them are enormous. Each of them are quite achievable. But we're going to have a look each day at some small thing that we could insert into our day that will help us to connect with the present moment, because that's where life is. That's where love is. That's where creation is unfolding in the present moment. It's not unfolding in 5 minutes' time or 5 minutes ago. And I imagine that your default mode network, which holds the I'll be happy when story, which holds all of the bad things that have happened in the past and projects them into the future so we can prepare ourselves more effectively for when we encounter that bad thing again in the future. But that system can drive you nuts. And it's often when it does drive us nuts that a lot of us get to that place where we say, that's it. Something has to change. I can't change the outer circumstance. I can't change what's happened in the world. I can't change what happens with the government until the next election. I can't change what's happening in my local community. What I can change always is how I choose to see it and how I choose to respond to it. So part of this health and well-being challenge is about you reclaiming your time, because you get 168 hours every week. I get them, you get them, we all get exactly 168 hours every single week. And every single one of them belongs to you. If you don't feel like you own every one of those 168 hours, you could be resenting some that you think other people have claim on. And that's very likely to set up a cycle of resentment, of not having your needs met before you've got to meet somebody else's, the unhappiness that comes from always looking after everyone else, if that's your pattern. And perhaps suffering more than anything is the thing that drives us to recognising that we only have this moment in which to take that control. And one of the most effective ways for me is simply to come to my senses. But every single day over the next 30 days, you're going to have a little task to put into practice and see if it makes a difference for you. So in a way, it'll be like a smorgasbord of tools and techniques that you can implement, see if they work for you, and you'll find some of them really do it for you, and others maybe not so much. But 30 days of trying these different things like gratitude, things like saying thank you to someone or cheering up someone, writing to someone, acknowledging someone, acknowledging yourself, acknowledging the day. These simple practices that connect us with the present moment, that connect us with gratitude, because gratitude is really the foundation of happiness, to be grateful for every breath, for every moment, for every encounter, for every opportunity. And most people find that when they draw together as a community, there's a strength in that. It kind of lifts us all up together. And we no longer feel so alone or isolated with our circumstance. And that we recognise, excuse me, we recognise that while each of us may be dealing with our community challenge, our statewide challenge, our national challenge, our global challenges, we each also have our individual circumstance. And that may be of grief, it may be of a recent diagnosis, it may be separation from your loved ones, all the people you didn't get to say goodbye to, or to acknowledge, or to celebrate. So a lot of us have this sort of disquietening grief of all of these things that have been losses along the way. And that's why I feel that this 30-day health and wellbeing challenge is coming at such a perfect time. Because as we emerge into a different world now, and we're not quite sure what it's going to look like, perhaps the one thing that we can all commit to are these daily practices that will help us to navigate these early days as we emerge out of lockdown for those who are in Sydney or in New South Wales, that we emerge out of that time into a new time. And there's a tinge of excitement, and there's a tinge for some of anxiety. And oftentimes that's the hallmark that we're on the right track, when things are a little bit exciting and a little bit anxiety-provoking, because we're leaving what's familiar. And for some of us, that's been being at home for a very long time, and inviting the world into our homes because of everyone Zooming and FaceTiming from home. So a lot has changed over this last couple of years. There's been a lot of trauma. There's been a lot of unexpected, unthinkable, unimaginable things. And while at Quest, we've been working with people I've been working with people for more than 35 years now, more than half my life. People who are at that point of emerging into a new world because of a diagnosis, a death, a divorce, a disaster, a drama, a disappointment, a dad, a daughter, a dementia, a drought, a doubt, lots of them. But when we hit that, everything that's second nature to us doesn't work. And we're all being called to step up now into our first nature, rather than what has become second nature to us. So when you catch yourself judging another, that's second nature. When there's a sharp word about yourself or others, that's second nature. Where there's a closing of your heart to yourself or to others, that's second nature. Our essential nature, and never is there a time when it's so important to connect with and express your first nature than now. When we engage the task positive network, and each day you'll be given an opportunity of engaging your task positive network through the activities that we'll send out to you. When we engage the task positive network, that's engaging your prefrontal cortex, your higher functioning, your executive functioning. That's when you have access to wisdom, humour, spontaneity, creativity, compassion, insight, all these wonderful, juicy qualities that are so needed in life right now. First nature is always compassionate. First nature is always kind. And when we're operating out of our second nature, that's when we're operating out of our story, whatever our story might be. And we need to have compassion for ourselves as well as for others. So perhaps the flavour throughout the next 30 days of the challenge is really around kindness, kindness towards yourself, kindness towards others, kindness towards your loved ones, your friends, but also to strangers. You know, I can tell you exactly when it was now. It was in 1982 when I was walking down the street in Los Angeles. My daughter was 6 and holding my hand, and my mother was with me. And I saw an elderly gentleman walking towards me, very bent over. And as he got closer, he was, mind you, he was in a beautiful brown suit with a blue tie and a white shirt. But it was just a little bit old and a little bit messy. But he'd obviously put care into how he'd tied his tie, even though there was a bit of a soup stain, I think it might have been on it. But there was something about this man, hunched over, walking towards me. And as we got quite close, we made eye contact. I'll never forget those eyes. I'm trying to connect, so I'm hoping that you're still there. Yes, it seems to have popped back again. So when our eyes connected, something in my heart absolutely flew out to this man. And I felt it from him too. And we both passed each other in the street, and some feet beyond, we both stopped and turned back and looked at each other in recognition and a smile. That smile of recognition says, I see you. I see you. And we all ache to be seen in our depths. So the next 30 days are an opportunity for you to have some deep respect for your own depths, for the consciousness that has radiated out of your eyes, through your smile, through your gestures, your words, over the decades. Who is that? Who is it that has been looking out through those eyes? Who is it that has shown up in the world? And in these next 30 days, we have an opportunity to touch in, to checking in on our physical body, our sleep, our nutrition, how we exercise, how we're managing our brain, because you're not your brain, but you do have one. And it can be a great friend or a shocking master. So we need to train it to be in our service, otherwise it runs the show. And every day there'll be these little bite-sized activities that you can implement into your day that can actually make a profound difference. As many of you know, tomorrow I turn 70. So that's an amazing thing to me, because I didn't expect to live past 33. And so in some ways, every day above ground is a great day. On the other hand, life, I know, is challenging. It's difficult. And we need to be able to embrace those challenges, preferably with a quiet mind, free of chatter, free of chaos, free of all of the mishmash that my brain can make of things. And how do we conduct ourselves with wisdom, with insight, with an intuitive sense, a creative sense of how do we engage with our challenges in a meaningful way? As you know, turning 70, we thought how wonderful it would be to raise $70,000 so that we can ensure, after this last 2 years in particular, that everyone who's so suffered through trauma, as so many people have, that we can always accommodate them on our programs at Quest. So if you can join us for the fundraising challenge, I'd love that. You're welcome to join my team, or you're welcome simply to make a donation. But if you feel that Quest has been of some small service to you, especially over these last couple of years, when I know our facilitators have stepped up, our counsellors have stepped up, so many people have stepped up to do our best to provide our Quest community with some tools and skills and strategies to manage these very challenging times. If you feel that we've helped in some way, we'd love for you to join us in that fundraising, because it'll make such a difference to so many people. Every cent of it will go towards making sure that we can have people who may be in financial difficulties still attend our programs, because we've always wanted to be available for everyone. As you know too, we have dreams of a wonderful healing trauma centre at Quest as well. And we're moving towards being able to fulfill that dream. So if you can help us at this time, we'd be very grateful. And if you are unable to help us financially, I hope you'll really join us on this 30-day challenge, so that you gain the benefit physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually of all of these little bite-sized hints and strategies and skills that we're going to share with you every day over the coming month. Tomorrow I'll be on Richard Glover on ABC 702 from 3:30 till 4. He's going to interview me, and we're also going to launch the challenge online to the ABC community. So we're hoping that many, many more people will join us on this challenge, which will be a win-win, because you'll be able to benefit yourself, and if you join in the fundraising, then you'll be able to benefit yourself and at the same time benefit the Quest for Life Foundation. You know, I started Quest 32 years ago now, because I was given a safe space, a space where I could kind of unravel myself, and indeed a place where I wept many tears. And for me, that space was that little cave outside of Assisi in Italy. And the old priest, Father Ilerino, took such good care of me during that time. He insisted that I ate every night and took care of me. And so I was given a safe space in which I could unravel myself. And I wept buckets in that little cave when I began to process much of what had happened to me in my earlier life that I'd never dealt with. And while that was wonderful, and I did find a good deal of peace in that cave, I know when you nearly die and then you don't, you know that happiness is not about the stuff. So for me, money about the stuff has never really had any appeal, and yet we work so hard to get all that stuff. And what I've noticed is you spend the first half of your first half of your life gathering all of this stuff, and the second half of your life giving it all away again. But what gives me joy is actually seeing people realize that they are not a helpless victim of their circumstance, that we can all be co-creators of our experience in life. So I hope you'll join me on this 30-day challenge. I'll be doing it every day alongside of you, so that we can provide that safe space that I was given over 35 years ago for many, many other people who found the last couple of years extremely difficult. And I know that applies to many of you. So please join us on this 30-day challenge. Please join a team and fundraise alongside of others on this 30-day challenge. And if you have friends or family who've noticed a difference in you, perhaps since you came to Quest, maybe get them to do some fundraising as well. Every amount that you raise makes a difference. As you can imagine, these past year and a bit has been very challenging for Quest, because we've had quite a few outgoings, but not a very much of the incomings at all. So that's why this fundraiser is particularly important at this time. We've managed to hang on to be here at the end of this time. Now we're opening up to a new beginning. We can't wait to see you all at Quest again. We'll be open again in a very COVID-safe environment from next week, which is really exciting. We can't wait to have people back in the building. So if there are any of you out in regional areas, we can't have people from Sydney yet, but if you're double vaccinated and you're out in regional areas of New South Wales and you'd like to attend a program next week, there might be still a space or two for a couple of people. So join me in this 30-day challenge. It's going to be a wonderful opportunity to make incremental improvements on a daily basis over 30 days. Let's finish by coming to our senses, and remember to use this practice in every waking moment. You don't need to change your posture. You don't need to look any different. You can leave your eyes open or closed, whichever you prefer. So simply be aware of your body and its posture as it is right now. Perhaps you can notice there's a taste in your mouth. Perhaps there's an aroma in the air. Perhaps as you notice the aroma, you also are aware that you're breathing in more through one nostril than the other. Notice what falls within your gaze, or any sight behind closed eyes. And notice the sounds close by. Then let your listening run right out until you hear the sun shining. And aware of the breath. Aware of the sensations of the inward and outward breath. This one breath that unites us. A grateful breath. Gratitude for one another, for this moment, for breath, for life, for quest. Thank you, everyone. I wish you a wonderful week. Go have a look at the challenge. If you go to questforlifechallenge.org.au, you'll find all of the information there. You'll find the whole program for the 30 days, and you're going to be hearing from us on a regular basis at the beginning of each week, letting you know what the challenge is going to be. And know that you'll be joining with many others. I think there's over 45 people who've registered already. So we look forward to many more people registering and joining. And I'll be in the meditation group at 7:30. I hope I get to see you there. Bye for now, everyone.